seen you last. What's new?
Nothing much. I've been to the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
prescribed me medicine, but I don't know how well it's working.
Oh, yes. What are your symptoms?
Well, we have court next week, so I think I'm just pretty anxious about that. And, I mean, I haven't been as depressed. My medicine's working a little bit, but I think that the anxiety from court is really getting to me.
Right, I understand. Well, I mean, that seems pretty common, but what do you know where you're going to be going over in court?
I guess just who gets custody of him, and the
And-
divorce will be final, and
Right, and how's that going with your lawyer? Do you feel confident about that?
he doesn't make me feel so confident now.
Okay.
He thinks maybe that my ex will get him, and that he's not going to want to be with me because he's an 8-year-old boy, and
Okay. Well, I can definitely suggest a call to him, possibly a meeting before you go into court so that we can feel more comfortable. You know, you definitely want to know how you feel going into the situation. You don't want to be caught off guard, especially with, you know, it's common to have a little bit of anxiety in this situation, and I just want you to feel as comfortable as possible. So,
I do want to feel comfortable with my lawyer, but I don't have that much money to
right,
get
definitely. But, meeting with him, you have to meet with him next week again, correct, before the hearing. So I can sit in maybe and like throw a few comments out and, help be an advocate for you and like be on your side about things.
Okay.
So, I think that we can definitely work something out with that. So last time I saw you, you didn't have a job. Did you look into possibly getting one?
I still don't have a job, but I'm thinking maybe going to look at some daycares and watching children a couple times a week.
Okay. So you like being around children?
Yeah. I figured that would help with the court case too.
Right.
Getting custody of him.
Yes, and helping understanding some time with your son possibly, and learning childhood development and maybe a little bit of the processes that they're going through will help you understand and be able to spend time with him more appropriately. And did you think about what you might want to be doing as far as school goes? I know you mentioned you wanted to go take college classes.
I was thinking maybe getting my AA to start, just taking a couple online classes, and maybe eventually going into teaching, or substitute teaching a couple times a week.
Yeah, I think definitely easing your way in
Yeah.
is the proper way, especially dealing with a court case and also raising a son. Mentioning your son, how is your daughter?
She's kind of doing her own thing. She's away at school, so she doesn't really want to take sides with me or her dad.
You've
she's
spoken to
kinda
her
just-
about
Yeah,
the situation?
she knows, but she doesn't want to take sides. She doesn't want to get involved, so I'm not really feeling that she's on my side either.
Right, I understand that.
She's kind of focused on school and doing her own thing.
Yeah, it can be difficult. She might not be taking it so well considering she's away and her parents are, separating. And it's always difficult to cope with a situation like that, but I think that I really feel after this whole court situation gets more settled with your son, that maybe we could speak with her. Maybe when she comes back for the summer and just kind of address possibly, what happened, and so we can explain, and then also how you plan on taking your guys' relationship in the future, maybe to your next level of a mother-daughter relationship. So
I just hope she doesn't start acting out. I mean, she's 19 and it's her second semester of school, and I hope she doesn't start acting out and get herself in any trouble because of this whole thing, and I would feel like it's my fault.
Right, I understand. And I know that many colleges do have services and support services and counseling services for students that are supplied, for free because it comes with the tuition. So I think that, if you feel like that is an issue, maybe suggesting her seeing someone, or if she feels like,
I don't know if she would be into that.
Yeah. Well, we might have to speak with her together.
She hasn't even admitted. Yeah, maybe we can bring her in here.
Okay. And how's your son doing?
He seems to be doing same in school. He's doing okay.
Okay.
He's still with me the whole time.
Mhm.
His ex moved out, so.
Right. So he's in your custody most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Not legally, but hopefully.
And so, how is your ex seeing him? If
he comes and gets him for a couple hours.
Okay.
When he can.
So visitation hours, you'd say. All right. And how is your son's behavior doing? Would you say, as opposed to his, his academics and then also his behavior?
I think his academics have been slacking a little bit. I think I mentioned that last time, but not as much, not terribly, but not as well as he could be doing. I know he's probably thinking about it and.
Right, and distraction.
Yeah.
So, I tend to focus on the child in hand and maybe their development, and he's 7 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, in that stage of development, really becoming associated academically in a positive way, and then also behaviorally is really important to developing, like, socially as they get into adolescence. So,
yeah, I think he doesn't lose any of his friends and start becoming like antisocial because of this whole thing.
Right. Well, I think maybe getting him involved in sporting events or also karate tends to be a good outlet because they also, they can have a positive outlet for like maybe some anger, because I know that sometimes boys tend to get angry. That's how their emotions tend to be coming out of them. So, maybe looking into some stuff as we're settling this case, possibly getting some funding from the father and your child support and et cetera for different activities.
So I know he plays sports with him, not on any teams, but he watches sports and he tries to do some activities, but maybe karate would be good for us, I think.
Yeah, positive influence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that we've gone over a lot today so far. I would say that focusing on getting your anxiety levels down would probably be the main.
After court, hopefully, if it all goes well, that maybe they'll go down a little bit. I'm hoping it's not the medicine that. I think really it's just having court next week and being really nervous.
Right. Well, remember, if it gets too overwhelming, we can always close our eyes, count to 10, take deep breaths, and just try to really displace yourself from the situation at hand. I mean, taking your mind away from the situation for a few minutes can really help you relax. And, also where would you say your thoughts are going whenever you're having like anxiety? Would you say?
To my son, really.
Really?
I'm not even thinking about my ex-husband anymore. I'm just thinking about what he's going to do, and I do want full custody of him.
Right.
And not that I want to take him away from his dad. I would let him have him on like the weekends and maybe once a week or every other weekend. But I do want full custody. I don't want him to ever be able to move away or.
Right. I understand. Yeah, and I'm guessing your ex wants full custody as well. Yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah, so if it was 50-50, it would probably be easier for everyone to decide, but we each want full. And I think if he got full, he would take him away from me completely.
Right. Okay.
So.
I understand, and that's definitely something that, discussing with a lawyer, we can see how that can be expressed properly through this hearing and in court, so that we can, come to an understanding that, one or the other has to get full. You can't just, separate a child, and especially, it's in the best interest of your son, and I think that that's what you're mostly upset about. So
I'm thinking that the judge would think that 50-50 would be best for him, which would be better than having him taken away for good.
So hopefully, if we have the proper, representation, and then the judge deciding that's what's best for him, I'm hoping that would be the situation, and then we can take that and really focus it on, the future and how we're going to adjust to this situation. So I think for next week, I'm hopefully going to meet with you before your hearing, right?
Yeah,
have some time
meet
for
with
that.
the lawyer.
And, but also just with you as well, maybe to go over exactly your feelings right before this situation, maybe some techniques we can go over for while you're actually in the hearing and in court. But until then, I would like to suggest possibly we have a group here in our agency that specifically involves single mothers and or mothers going through divorce situations. So I think that, finding some different connections and suggestions from people that are going through some of the same things that you are, it would be really helpful.
Yeah, that might help.
Yeah, and also for benefiting your son in the way that you can share different activities and things that other mothers are doing, single mothers. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is all very new to me.
So, I guess I will see you next week then.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.